One of the most misunderstood teachings in human history comes from the Buddha. Give up desire. For centuries, people have interpreted that to mean give up your dreams, give up your ambition, give up your relationships, give up success. Give up the world in a sense. Become completely detached, passive, and empty. But let me ask you something. If you removed all desire from your life, what would be left? No goals, no movement, no creation, no love. That is not enlightenment. That is lifelessness. So what did he actually mean then? Because if you misunderstand this, you will either reject the teaching entirely or try to live it and slowly disconnect from life. The Buddha was not saying don't desire anything. He was pointing to something far more subtle and far more powerful. He was saying that suffering doesn't come from desire itself. It comes from your attachment to how reality has to unfold. Let's break this down. There are two types of desire. The first is natural desire. You want to build something, fall in love, grow, create, and experience life. This is movement. This is life expressing itself through you. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, without it, nothing would happen. But then there's a second layer, and this is where suffering begins. I want this, and I need it to happen this way. I want this relationship, and they need to show up exactly how I expect. I want success, and it has to look like this timeline, this outcome. Now you're no longer just desiring, you're clinging. And the moment reality doesn't match your expectation, you suffer. Let me ask you a question. Is pain avoidable? No. Loss happens, rejection happens, things don't go your way. But suffering is something different. Suffering is what happens when you say, this shouldn't be happening, even though it is. That's it. That's the whole mechanism. Reality is one way, and you want it to be another. In a way, it's like arguing with gravity. You can jump off a roof and say, I don't want to fall, but reality doesn't negotiate that way, and neither does life. So people heard the Buddha say, give up desire, and thought, I need to stop wanting things. So they tried to detach from life. They suppress ambition, they disconnect from relationships, they pretend like they don't care. But that's not freedom, that's avoidance. It's like saying I'll never get in a car again, so I never risk getting into an accident. Yes, you've avoided the risk, but you've also stopped living. The Buddha was never teaching you to withdraw from life. He was teaching freedom within life. Here's what it actually means. Go after what you want. Build the business. Pursue the relationship, chase the dream, but don't attach your peace to the outcome. Because the moment you say, I can only be okay if this works out, you've created suffering. Instead, you move toward what you want while staying open to whatever happens. I want you to imagine that you're in a river. You have a direction you want to go, so you swim. You move, you try, you navigate. But now imagine that you're trying to control the river itself. You demand that the current moves differently, so you fight against it, you resist where it's taking you. That's attachment. And that's frankly where exhaustion and stress come from. It's where suffering comes from. Flow is not doing nothing. Flow is moving with the current, not trying to swim upstream or downstream. Let's make this very practical. In relationships, you want it to work, and that's natural. But if the other person leaves or doesn't show up how you need, you've got two options. You can say, this shouldn't be happening. They were supposed to be my person, and you can suffer. Or you can say, I wanted this, but this is what's happening. There may still be pain, but there's no added resistance, and that changes the game. In your career, you work toward a goal and it doesn't work out. Do you collapse into this wasn't supposed to happen? I failed, this ruins everything. Or can you say, I wanted this outcome, but reality gave me something else? One creates suffering, the other creates growth. Let's look at emotions. When you feel anxiety, sadness, or anger, your immediate reaction may be, I don't want to feel this. So you resist it, you suppress it, you fight it. But the feeling is already there. Now you have the original feeling plus resistance to the feeling. It's double suffering. So letting go of desire here means letting go of the desire to not feel what you're actually feeling. And when you do that, something quite remarkable happens. The emotion actually moves through you and releases. The goal is not to become passive, it's to become aligned. Can you take action without tension? Can you pursue without desperation? Can you experience life without needing it to be different than it actually is? Think about how much energy you spend arguing with reality, replaying the past, resisting the present and trying to control the future. What if all of that dropped? Not because you gave up, but because you saw clearly that this moment is the only one that you need to live fully. Here's the paradox. When you let go of needing things to go your way, you actually move through life more powerfully because you're no longer paralyzed by fear. You're no longer trying to control everything. You become flexible and responsive and fully present. It's almost like holding sand in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. The more you relax, the more remains. So no, the Buddha was not asking you to give up your life. He was asking you to give up your resistance to life, to stop arguing with what is, to stop needing reality to match your expectations in order for you to be at peace. Because peace was never in the outcome. It was in your relationship to what is happening right now. You can want anything. You can pursue everything. Just don't require life to obey you in order for you to be free. Thanks for watching this video today. If you get value from my content, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I don't want you to miss future conversations about awareness and emotional freedom and enlightenment. And if you really want to go deeper into the work, head over to my website at keithcrossley.com. I've got additional teachings and resources and coaching options, all designed to help you attain the highest levels of mental and emotional freedom. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.